Receiving on her behalf is her son, Dean Epperson, and her daughter, Terry Harrington.
My sister Terry decided that she wanted to just sit instead of come up here and stand, so. Oh, thank you all for this opportunity. In February of this year, I received a call from Susan Olson asking if I would agree to be interviewed about my mother, Mary Epperson. After several conversations with me and my sister, plus additional research on her own, Susan wrote an eloquent article about our mother. Unfortunately, Susan passed away before I could meet her and adequately thank her for her hard work on my mother's behalf and all the work that she's done for this organization. It's nothing short of amazing that she took the time for this project during what turned out to be the final of her days. What a terrific person she must have been. In considering what to say this evening, the question when thinking about my mother's nomination was why my mother, Mary? What was it about her life that made her the recipient of several prestigious awards and honors? Even she queried the same thing in a radio interview after receiving the Governor's Award in 1988. Quote, "I don't feel I have done anything that other people haven't done. I just sort of got singled out," end quote. So contemplating this question of why, I arrived at several possible answers, which I'd like to briefly mention here. Mother was a humble person and was not interested in notoriety or special attention. In fact, special attention often made her very uncomfortable. For example, on discovering that we had planned a surprise birthday party for her 80th birthday, she was so embarrassed by the fuss that she almost didn't come. It wasn't until we told her that all her friends were going to be there at her party, and she relented finally to come. And at that event, we had to drag her home. If she were here today with us, she would have been truly amazed to be mentioned alongside the current and past inductees. Mary was tenacious and resourceful, and when she was passionate about a project, committed to a goal, or needed help to accomplish something important, she knew how to motivate and even manipulate people to get them to be part of the solution. And they loved her for it. Those who knew Mary knew she had a little bitty hand, and with an iron grip. She would grab your arm, and while looking at you directly, she would ask you about your life and what was important to you, and she wouldn't let go. There was a photo of her in the Homer News a year before she died with Governor Walker, who had come to her nursing home to see her. In the photo, you can see clearly that that little bitty hand was on his arm. I'm sure she was requesting an increase to services to the Friendship Terrace where she had lived, or asking for help for funding for an arts organization or education in Homer. Mary was not only a leader, but a follower. She knew how to delegate, and she had no difficulty asking others to help. She considered everyone as her very good friend, even though she couldn't remember your name. But she didn't know your story and your contributions that you made to the community. She also was happy to take instruction and directions from others and consistent in meeting her obligations. She was a true team player, and she loved to champion others. Mary's adult life was filled with hugely contrasting events, beginning with her city life in Los Angeles as a girl, a new mother with 2 children, a husband, Jack, living in a subdivision with manicured lawns, bridge parties, dances, and other social events. Suddenly, she was transplanted to the Kenai Peninsula to live in a homesteader's cabin in remote living, where she and Jack lived in a cabin with sawdust floors about a half mile off the developed road. You can only imagine. Shortly after that, after 10 years of this, she moved to Homer, and for the next 17 years became a bookkeeper for the city of Homer. And finally, after retiring from that job, she returned to her true passion, music, and became a beloved piano teacher of many children and adults, and a powerful advocate for and promoter for the arts and education in Homer. This final stage for her life began in her 60s, an age when most people chose to kick back, relax, travel, retire, at least slow down, but not marry. For the next 30 years, this little diminutive 4-foot-tall woman, later referred to as Little Mary Epperson in one of Joel Kilter's songs, really came into her own. For her, there was always the next piano recital to plan, the next concert to attend, and by the way, if you needed someone to hand out programs, just call Mary, the next theater production, the next fundraiser to organize. Her passion for community involvement in the arts and education was the key to her longevity. That and the 2 flights of stairs in her house. Mother would definitely want me to thank Carol Schwartz, all the past and present arts community in Homer, too many names to mention, and of course Susan Olson, once again for this nomination. She would want us to accept it on behalf of all those who helped her to achieve her visions for the arts and education community in Homer. I'm not sure we will ever truly understand what really motivated my mother. Perhaps her love of people, combined with her love of the arts, and the community that she so loved. You have chosen her today, and we really do appreciate your offer. Clearly, the seed that was of 37 years germinated in Alaska, in this woman, some really tough stuff. Her life was an example of one who grows where they are planted, and grow she did. Thank you very much.